everyone, I am Brandon K. Hedgepeth of WHATS News. So today I'm happy to have my interview guest here today, Mike Giardino of the Executive Director of the Newport Williamsburg International Airport. It's so good to speak with you.
Good to be with you, thanks.
And so before we go ahead and get started with this interview, I did want to ask, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Wonderful. It's a great day in Hampton Roads.
That is really great to hear. And so the COVID-19 pandemic has, really played a large role within our everyday lives. And so how has it really affected the everyday business of the airport?
Well, initially it reduced our business to near nothing. We were down to 8 people one day in late April 2020. But the business returned pretty well. We did lose one airline, unfortunately, and that was a decision made by the airline. It had nothing to do with COVID or the passenger count and things like that. It was just, the airlines, I think, obviously the entire economy was hurt by COVID. So, however, business bounced back relatively quickly right away. Of course, we've had our ups and downs since, just like everybody else. But the airplanes are full, and that's a good news story.
Well, that is really great to hear. So how long did it take, to really get back to full capacity for the airport?
Well, we haven't exactly achieved full capacity, but our service has been reduced in mainly, I'd say down to 85% right now of what it was in 2019. Our airport has suffered worse because, again, we lost one airline. So we're about 65% capacity, which is about where we're going to be for a little bit until things pick up a little more. Now, unfortunately, there's other issues affecting airlines besides COVID.
Yeah, that is definitely quite true. And so with the pandemic, how has it really affected, I guess, the overall atmosphere of the airport and taking flights?
Well, we did things differently at first. I think everyone went as cautious as possible. We still had to run an airport, so that we had to do. But we did take precautions, and we did a lot, especially with health and accreditation for cleanliness and things like that. We were one of the first airports in Virginia to be accredited for cleanliness and health, which I was very glad that we achieved that goal. We installed the highest grade of air filters in our heating and air conditioning system. So we did things, we made sure that we put markers down for social distancing. We did other things, and that changed the atmosphere of the airport, but everybody adapted fine, and we are where we are. I think people are used to it by now, and there still is a federal mask mandate at airports.
Yeah, that is at least really great to hear that that the airport has been resilient and is still able to to function. And so really, like, going forward, so with these current procedures in place, how will this I guess really help if suppose like another instance such as another pandemic were to happen? Hopefully it doesn't, though.
Right. Well, whether it's COVID or any other communicable disease or anything else that's going on, again, I think you said it, the airport had to operate. We're like a utility. When you turn on a light switch, you expect there to be electricity. When you turn a faucet, you expect the water to flow. You expect air service to be at the airport, and that's where we are. So we've adapted a few things. I think we've learned a few things. People like a touchless experience. People may do more on their telephones. They were doing more on their telephones anyway, on their mobile phones. So we're adapting to that technology as well. But we're trying to give people the experience that they desire. Some people like touchless, some people like a paper ticket still to this day. So we have to be adaptable, but we're moving on from a lot of things. And I think we've learned a lot from this experience.
Well, that is really great to hear. And so for you as executive director of the airport, have you really noticed like an overall change in how, I guess like the overall procedures of the airport overall, like, truly in its functioning and, I guess everything of that nature?
Well, again, touchless seems to be something that people have adapted to, but face-to-face is still a way to go. People like to see people's eyeballs, and certainly they like to see a smile rather than a mask over their face. But again, we'll adapt to whatever situation we have to, whether it's speaking through plexiglass, for example, which I don't think anybody loves to do. But if it's going to make people feel comfortable or create a safer environment, that's fine. And anything else that we can do. It's all about the experience here at the airport and making people feel comfortable. We know it's a healthy environment. We've proven that.
Well, that is good to hear. And so going into the holiday season of 2021, what can passengers really expect, like going into the airport and the overall experience?
Well, first and foremost, I think most people have been used to it, but if you haven't traveled in a while, it's a safe, clean environment, number one. We're still under a federal mask mandate, and I'll point that out as well. But for the most part, the experience is the same pre-pandemic and post-pandemic, with just a few minor adaptations, I'll say, but nothing different than they've experienced in the grocery store or any place else they've been. And slowly but surely, people are getting comfortable with that, no matter what it is. And again, the airplanes are full, and it's a great environment, and we encourage people to get back to traveling.
That's good to hear. And so has there been a lot of ticket sales thus far, like preparing for the holiday season and the upcoming new year?
Actually, what we've noticed is, yes, the bookings are strong at our airport and around the country as well. So we're hopeful for a great future. Again, there are other challenges that the airlines are facing right now, but as far as demand goes, it's very high.
Well, that is really good to hear, especially since, that as executive director, you've been putting in a lot of, real focus on trying to make sure that each of the people who are willing to take a flight, are comfortable and are, safe. And so overall, like, what type of experience should passengers expect before they even get on the plane while here at the Newport News Williamsburg International Airport?
Well, I think the first experience you're going to notice is it's fast, and it's easy, and it's friendly. Okay, so those three things are for sure. No one can beat the experience at our airport for ease and how fast we get you, from whether it's you get dropped off at the curb or if you park your vehicle. From the time that happens to the time that you board an airplane, it's fast, easy, and enjoyable at this airport. And that's what we focus on. And we want to make sure that people have a great experience at the airport.
Well, that is good to hear. And so I know, of course, you've mentioned the mask mandate, but are there any other requirements and stuff that passengers should know about, like when really going into the airport and, getting ready to potentially book a flight, whether now or any other time, I guess, in the upcoming future?
Not really. I think the only thing right now that's different is the federal mask mandate. Otherwise, again, it's always been a fast, easy, and enjoyable experience at this airport, and hopefully in their other travels, anybody who's traveling, I wish them a fast, easy, and enjoyable experience, but nobody's going to beat this place. But not really. Other than the federal mask mandate, we're operating normally, and we have been ever since, I'll say, March 11th, 2020, when this all began.
Yeah, that is definitely really great to hear, and I'm glad that the airport is faring well, and that, of course, as we've mentioned before, that you are really doing your best to make sure that each of your passengers and potential passengers are all really safe and enjoy their experience. And so I guess, is there anything else that you would like to note before I head to other questions about the overall experience, or any updates with the airport?
Well, we're constantly working on air service, I'll say that to folks, and we are working on better amenities. And your viewers may know this already. An infrastructure bill was passed by Congress, and the President signed it into law. And in that infrastructure bill is a lot of money for airports, especially airport terminal buildings. This building is 30 years old, and could use a little bit of upgrade, and we're planning on doing that. So we've got a lot of exciting things that we're thinking about and planning about. It's going to take money to do that, and in this infrastructure bill there's money, especially for airport terminal buildings. But we're constantly looking on improvements. I mentioned technology earlier and things like that. And again, it's all about the passenger experience and making it the best that we can.
Well, that is really great to hear. And speaking of money, so I know that prices of a lot of things have been going up over the past several months, especially right now within this COVID-19 pandemic. And so has there been any real big changes in terms of prices for air travel, or has it remained relatively the same?
Air travel's gone up, I think, because of demand and supply. I mean, it's just economics. Again, the airlines themselves reduced flights, and there is a pilot shortage and other things like that. You know, when you go from a complete shutdown, not a complete shutdown, but a near shutdown of air service in April of 2020, ramping that back up and the unsurety of the virus, it was just that kind of environment. So getting things going again, the cost of fuel has gone up, and there's other things that may be affecting the airlines that we don't know about yet. So I think that the cost of travel will go up in the short term, let's hope, but because of high demand and because of maybe there's increased capacity, the prices will stabilize and come back down. The airport, on the other hand, is actually less expensive for airlines to operate out of than it's ever been, at least in recent history. So if airlines want to come to this airport, they will pay very low costs to operate at this airport. So at least one thing's going down.
Well, that is at least really great to hear that, yeah, of course, while there has been a lot of challenges, I'm glad to hear that at least that the airport is faring well, and that hopefully that will definitely be a big benefit for potential flights or passengers going forward. And so I guess, is there anything else that you would like to mention as well, just overall? I mean, first of all, it's been really great speaking with you thus far, and so really has, like, for overall operation, is there, I know that you mentioned the infrastructure bills and everything of that nature. Is there any true updates that you would like to do to the airport overall?
Yeah, we'll stick to the first point that you made, which is the airport's doing great, and that's a good news sign. We're in the middle of 1.7 million people. We know that. We're low cost for the airlines to operate out of, and we're fast and convenient for people, especially within a 15-20 minute drive of us. And when business travel returns, this airport will be great, because business travel is where we focus a lot of our energy into, because we're surrounded by a lot of great businesses, and of course the military and government work is very important to us. Of course, leisure travel too. We don't ever forget about leisure travel, but we know that we cater to the business traveler really well. There's a lot of exciting things happening at the airport besides commercial air service, and we're just looking forward to the future and things bouncing back for us. But the airport is doing great.
Well, that is really great to hear. So over this whole time, this whole past year and a half, and even going forward, what are some of the lessons that you've really learned from, I guess, dealing with with managing an airport in the midst of a global pandemic that's gone on for over a year now?
The lessons that I've learned is being surrounded by great people and having a wonderful product makes us as resilient as we need to be. So we're looking forward to a great future, but the lesson to be learned is be prepared. Don't be afraid to make a change if you need to, whether it's operationally, financially, and then self-assess, come back and take a look at how you're doing, and then just keep moving forward. But being surrounded by great people and having a great product, it makes you resilient, and again, we're looking forward to the future.
Well, that is really great to hear, and I did want to thank you once again for willing to speak with me and for really giving us an update on how the Newport News Williamsburg International Airport has really been faring over, this past year and a half, and I truly wish you the best of luck in continuing your time as Executive Director of the airport.
Thank you very much. It's been my pleasure, and thank you for your thoughtful questions.
Yeah, of course. And thank you so much for tuning in today. And I am Brandon K. Hedgepeth at the Newport News Williamsburg International Airport.